new season. I'm saying this right now. It's new to me, new to me. I figured, you know, that Yahoo being a fine season finale to Forever War. Uh, so in light of that, I'm going pure fiction. Pure fiction by uh, getting two people together. If you're reading text right now, you know what I mean. So let's get this on the road.
Candid closed-circuit CAMEROPTICON. Alan Funt produces this 24/7, 16-week documentary set in a facility cube similar to the film Cube, but instead of aliens, is run by the Marquis de Sade to watch over the cube's only two inmates, Jeffrey Epstein and Sean Puffy Combs, two self-assembled leaders who once had vast amounts of resources and personnel, whose parties drew in a vast array of notable and disposable figures, and whose archive of recordings was the mortar that held their respective domains together. What happens when these two men have to live in a cube, have their lives taped, to see what happens when things stop getting polite and start getting real? Candid closed-circuit CAMEROPTICON. Angst. Courtyard driveway in front of Cube Day. The Marquis de Sade sits patiently on a lawn chair, lightly drizzled by the lawn sprinklers while he scribbles in his journal, awaiting the arrival of Jeffrey Epstein and Sean Puffy Combs. The gates open, revealing the security-escorted duo as they approach the cube. Cube Day. What in the name of Glocks is this? Combs, clearly not taking this very seriously, is doing his part in a visual documentation of the cube by getting several angles of the tiny metal cube. Epstein, understandably taken aback by the sharp corners, emptiness, and sparsity of the surroundings, asks aloud, "How do you suppose this is going to work?" Combs tosses a crate of camcorders onto the floor, then with a snap of the fingers, transforms one of the walls of the cube into a 30-foot-long, 7-story tall wall of cameras. Combs continues, "Because I've got a warehouse of camcorders just waiting for us to record every square inch of this cube. I'll let you choose which side of the wall to work on. You pick your cameras, and I'll tell you which direction to face." Epstein stands in silence. Combs notices his hesitation and presses. "Don't tell me you're not curious about what's going to happen to us. I know you've got a whole bunch of secrets, but I'm willing to share my business expertise with you in exchange for the right to observe what happens." Epstein, clearly not amused, snaps back, "You know I'm the one who invented the cube, right? I'm sure I can solve your problem." A sudden rumbling interrupts their conversation, the floor beneath them beginning to shift, becoming a series of waves that crash against each other as the cube walls slowly but surely start to pull away from each other. Combs stands in the middle of the cube, watching in awe as the wall pulls away, revealing a large, flat expanse of floor beneath them. He turns to Epstein, now standing beside him, and whispers, "This is incredible. What's happening?" Epstein, clearly rattled but trying to maintain his composure, answers,
As the inventor of the cube,
"I'm not entirely sure, but I think we're supposed to figure it out together." The wall of cameras comes to a stop, revealing a vast, empty space in front of them. The two men step out into the space, and the camera wall begins to slowly retract, the ground beneath them continuing to shift and move. They are now standing on a moving platform, surrounded by a vast, seemingly endless expanse of white, featureless nothingness. Combs turns to Epstein and says, "We've got to get out of here. Now." But Epstein is lost in thought, his eyes scanning the blankness around him. "It's a blank canvas," he says softly. "A blank slate. What we do next, what we create here, is entirely up to us." Combs, however, is not impressed. "A blank slate? We're in a blank fucking slate? You've got to be kidding me." He starts pacing back and forth, ranting and raving about how they're never going to get out of there, how they're going to die in a blank space, how it's all Epstein's fault. Epstein, however, remains calm, focused, and determined. He begins to explain his vision to Combs, how they can use the vast, empty space to their advantage, how they can create anything they want, and how it can be their key to freedom. But Combs is having none of it. He's convinced that they're never going to get out of there, that they're going to die in that blank space, and that Epstein is to blame. The two men argue back and forth, their voices echoing through the endless expanse of white, until suddenly a voice from nowhere breaks through the silence. "Attention, Jeffrey Epstein and Sean Combs. You have been chosen to participate in the CANDID closed-circuit CAMEROPTICON. Your lives are being taped to see what happens when things stop getting polite and start getting real. You have been placed in this blank slate for a reason. It is up to you to determine what that reason is and what you will do with the opportunity you have been given."
Frankly, I'm surprised that John
The
isn't
voice fades
recognizing
away,
railroad
leaving Epstein and
info.
Combs standing in silence, staring out into the endless expanse of white. They have a choice to make, a choice that will determine the rest of their lives. The choice is theirs to make. Int. Cube Main Security Station Sphere Day. The Marquis de Sade shuts off the microphone. De Sade. V. Oh, I was totally prepared to give them my spiel, the rules of the place, the fact that puzzles would appear for them to solve in order to get their meals, and casual offhanded hints about the cube secrets that they would have epiphanized through a careful reflection of most of the season, 2/3 of which would have already passed during their bleakest of moments. But they had to come in without acknowledging me, thinking they already have the gist of the situation. "Okay, you little shits, have it your way. We'll be here to watch you fail." Ha! Oh, you'd like a hint. I'm sorry you steamrolled over them when you entered the cube. Swipes. Int. Outer cube, Dad. Jeffrey Epstein and Sean Combs get settled, or rather, they try to get settled. Then they realize there's no real room for them to store their things. There are no places to store their personal effects. There are no lockers, closets, storage containers, nothing.
Open cookies.
Sean Combs. What the hell? Where do we put our shit? Jeffrey Epstein. I don't know. It looks like they stripped this place down to its bare essentials. Combs. Sarcastic, this doesn't seem like a strip club. Epstein. This doesn't seem like my shower. That's for sure. Combs. What the hell are we supposed to do with this place? Epstein. It's obvious that we have a lot of catching up to do. I mean, we're only two people, and it looks like we're surrounded by this camera wall that's probably watching us all the time. We need to start figuring out what's going on here. Combs. Well, I guess we should start by deciding what we're going to eat. Do we have any food? Epstein shrugs. I have no idea. Combs. I don't know about you, but I'm not feeling very safe around this food. We're in a sterile, unfamiliar place, and we're surrounded by this camera wall. I'm not taking any chances.
This thing I made.
Epstein. Holding up his hand. All right. I hear you. I'm just trying to figure out what our situation is and what we need to do to survive. It. Leonard Cube Day. The next day, after a long and frustrating night of trying to figure out their situation, Jeffrey Epstein and Sean Combs finally decide to start eating some of the food that's been provided for them. Epstein, shaking his head, I can't believe we're reduced to this. I mean, we're two powerful, wealthy men, and we're being treated like prisoners.
Why?
Combs, muttering under his breath, yeah, well, at least we're not being treated like animals. Then, aloud but seriously, I'm starting to wonder if this food is even edible. Epstein, touching his finger to his nose, I know what you mean. This place is definitely a challenge.
This place I made.
Combs, nodding, yeah, it's not what I was expecting at all. Epstein, taking a deep breath, we just have to keep reminding ourselves that we're here for a reason and that we need to keep our wits about us. Combs, standing up, I think I'm going to go take a shower. I don't know about you, but I feel like I've been in here forever. Epstein, sign, I'll join you. I need to wash off some of this stress. Combs, nodding, all right. They head towards the shower. As they walk towards the shower, the two men notice that the wall of cameras is starting to move, inching closer and closer to them. Epstein, whispering what's going on. What's happening? Combs, nodding, I don't know, but I don't like it. I think we should get out of here. Epstein, standing up straight. No, we can't leave.
What were you doing
We
before
have to stay here and
Kneeling?
figure out what's going on.
Lying down?
Combs, glaring at the wall. I don't care what's going on. I'm getting out of here. Epstein, reaching out to Combs. Wait. I think we should stay. I think we can figure this out together. Combs, standing his ground. No, I'm leaving. You can stay if you want, but I'm getting out of here. As Combs walks towards the exit, the wall of cameras suddenly starts to vibrate and shake as if it's trying to block his way. Epstein, trying to stop Combs. Wait. We have to figure this out together. We have to stay. Combs, struggling to get past the wall. No, I'm not staying here. I'm leaving. I don't care what happens to you. As Combs pushes past the wall, the vibrations and shaking suddenly stop, and the wall starts to inch away from him.
Yeah.
Epstein, standing alone. I guess that's it then. I'm on my own. Int. Cube main security stations for your day. The Sade. What a pile of bullshit nonsense. And a bit creepers too. Like I doubt they had instant rapport enough to resign themselves to shower together, let alone reach towards one another in danger. And what the hell? Cube. There are supposed to be puzzles they have to solve in order to get food. That food they eat better have been fake, like it better come out the exact way it came in. Yeah, that would unsettle them for sure. You try being calm while shitting out totally intact chicken skins. Yes, make it so. One more essential note. Cameras. You know, technology has advanced a whole lot these days. They can be really tiny. Hell, they can probably infer the contents of the room just from the distorted sound waves from both their nighttime farts. I'm not saying you should do that, but the key is to make yourself invisible, too tiny to notice. We need them to be unaware they are being watched. You know why? Because this is called CANDID closed circuit CAMEROPTICON. You heard of Panopticon, all that, but add a bunch of cameras into the mix. You got it? Okay, continue. Int. Cube night. Epstein and Combs are growing tired. Neither is even sure of how long it's been. They tried to escape to their imagination, but they don't know each other at all and have barely even the slightest amount of rapport. They try to distract themselves with daydreaming, but end up repeating the same old issues from before.
I don't
Epstein
like
and
girls. I don't
Combsby.
like girls.
Oh, that's overlap. Then trade off. Sean. Find a time where there's as few cops out in public as possible.
Good luck.
Jeff. As long as you can keep the mole trail. Sean. Look, I have no problem with risks. But now that I'm working with you, it can't always be about people you've entrapped with vague promises,
Sometimes it's gotta be
pulling
my people
along
I've
all
entrapped.
the other pawns as possible, ignoring the other end of the worm.
My
Jeff. Okay then, we go to a country without an extradition treaty with us. Yeah, that would make things simple for me. But first, we need to make sure we get away from that damn Desaid motherfucker. Think of your freedom. Fuck passports and compasses and wallets and keywins. Stick them in these boxes I've made. Hiding our technology? Check. Okay, good. Now give me your boots. We're running out the door, but first. Int. Jeff and Epstein shared shoebox stay dress shoes. Each pair pressed tight against one another, stacked Tetris tightly within. A small mechanical arm dips its spoon tip among the stacked boxes and rows. On some strange, optimized pathfinding quest towards the bottom of the mountain. Interstitial portholes reveal bare feet among bed sheets. You cut to longer legs and darker feet. Perhaps an incestuous moment of the show. Definitely an exciting and very observant turn in the arc of the whole ordeal for anyone who not only would want to see incestuous depiction of this particular cast, it is also the showing and not telling of the events now currently underway.
Sponsored by Sandal.
Anyway, I think we need to show our cast undergoing a titillating, intimate moment between one another. Int. Epstein's shared bedrooms night. Int. Jeff and Epstein's shared bedroom night.
Oh, it's merged.
Jeffrey and Sean Epstein are just falling asleep together in bed. They are lying on their backs, staring at the ceiling and whispering to one another. Jeffrey, in an intimate voice, do you remember what it was like the first time we met? Sean, in a soft voice, of course I do. It was like a dream come true. I had always wanted to meet you, to see what it was like to be in your world. And when I finally did, it was even better than I had ever imagined. It was magical, like a fairy tale.
You were teaching it.
Jeffrey,
Math.
smiling warmly, I remember. You were so beautiful, so charming, and so kind. I couldn't believe that I had the privilege of spending time with you. Sean, sighing happily, and then, when you invited me to stay with you, it was like a dream come true. I never wanted to leave your side. I felt like I had found my home, my family, my everything. Jeffrey, reaching out to hold Sean's hand, and I never wanted you to leave either. I loved having you by my side. I felt like we were meant to be together.
When we break up, you'll be my friend.
Sean, nodding happily, and now, here we are, together in this strange and wonderful place. It's like a new chapter in our story. Jeffrey, smiling gently, and I can't wait to see what happens next. They lie in silence for a few minutes,
Inside each
just
other.
holding each other's hands and gazing at the ceiling. Then, Jeffrey leans over and whispers in Sean's ear.
Give me a massage.
Jeffrey, in a soft, intimate voice, Sean, I have something I want to tell you. Something I've been wanting to say for a long time, but I've been afraid to say it. Sean, looking at Jeffrey with love and affection. What is it, Jeffrey? You can tell me anything. Jeffrey, taking a deep breath. I love you, Sean. I've loved you from the moment we met, and I will love you for the rest of my life. Sean, smiling radiantly. I love you too, Jeffrey. I've loved you for as long as I can remember, and I will love you for the rest of my life. They embrace each other tightly, and then slowly drift off to sleep in each other's
And
arms.
inside each other.
Combs. Wait a second. How come everything we're talking about sounds like it's about sex? How did we get from goodnight to... We'll always... Int. Cube main security station sphere day. The Sade. Hypervectors, my boy. Oh, I don't mean that in the racist way, but in the condescending overseer upon his inferior way. But yes, hypervectors, you and he and your vectors all up in each other's matmos, scissoring your way to the inner depths of yourselves. And apparently we're just humans who want to be loved lair, which ain't that deep. So now it's time to have you all express the infos. Let's fast forward the love bombing and get right into the mutual devaluation, shall we? Turns the dial, and a tone we had been not noticing suddenly twists to a jarring minor key. Int. Combs and Epstein's respective spaces delineated by duct tape night. Yeah, that's right. Separate beds now. Separated even further by borders imaginary except to the lens of love through which only the parties involved have seen. But it's okay. This is all part of our process. We need to gather and quantify their characteristics. Why wouldn't we want some clear delineation to perform simple frequency matching and concentration mapping? Okay, back to it now. Can you two muster up an argument while conducting parallel identical shoeboxes moving tests? Here we go. Epstein is muttering to himself how worthless their efforts to puzzle solving are because there is probably no solution and probably no puzzle either. Because he thinks he was in this situation once before and it worked out okay that one time, right? Combs, on the other hand, is wondering why it is his shoebox that has to tip over while Epstein has moved only his fifth pair of shoes. All the rooms are the same. They're lifeless boxes, tipping over as they try to move from room to room at the rate that's supposed to reveal their larger internal prisons escape from this unholy situation of trying to decide which escape pod first of all will reveal its small film reel at the final centimeter before the airlock between the pot and the other, the inner zone of deadly vacuum. Trying to balance themselves with their left hands out so the finger sensors could make sure they do not exceed the marginal threshold of digits on their footsies, shoes moving boxes, tipping hands grabbing ropes and wrenches. Try not to cut yourself on the cube's edge. Of course, you have to keep your concentration at its most utmost and dear. How one works hard to put it out of mind because of those frustrating slabs of alien robot design I had been found out earlier. The motions were pre-programmed several years back, and it appears sometimes when they think no one is looking, you feel a slight tickle behind your upper inner thigh. It's nothing they ever worked for. These guys. So somehow it didn't matter the thick knees S of the shoebox, or the orientation of the collection box tower, or how many pendants around their necks, because this whole time they only had one blacklight flashlight, in this case only a small heavy 90 dead lead flashlight staring up at them from the floor. Its single square lead panel caught within the cube's single square floor panel, as stark as the square of fence wire they trudged through with an odd look on their faces. They stopped every other square foot as if they'd forgotten how to picture rise in this gentle scenery that occupies what was a retooled airplane. Gentle audio is playing, but they know their place, as every so often, so does the figure of a man. Visible only through a blue monochromatic silhouette shadow or distorted edge glow passes by the see-through walls of their cube, or maybe it's a mirror or a wall covered by thin shower curtains, each painted with scenes of children hard at play. Apparently, it's a babysitting promotional to get families to learn child mining in prison. Tease. Dicks. Anyway, they catch each other's eye and determine it must be time to fight about moving their boxes into adjacent bays on opposite sides of the swinging plastic flaps so that they could block the reverse view mirror effect from their escaping. As both men eye the blue screen behind them through the plastic fringe of the swinging menudo, it is probably strange. All this nervous energy they get towards the very end of whatever race. Before they can even decide, it's too late for a good long stare into oblivion of things that, thankfully, are not supposed to be remembered, because frankly, that whole thing was obscene and unrepeatable for an imaginary TV reality show that broadcasts itself into reality through the thoughts of people unconscious of the powers of their minds.
Stupid
Can
way.
you imagine if instead of your dreams bouncing off of their senseless bank shots into another sphere of personalized existence into some sandbox simulation that can learn and emulate new phenomena while also being meticulously watched and categorized, that's merely emulating the likely dynamics of everyone ever before and letting everyone self-start their simulations? Where was I? Anyway, while the arrangement between Combs and Epstein, it crumbles. Probably fast too. Like upon the realization there may very well be an escape path, hidden in their dissidence. Maybe they think it's their ticket out of here. Or maybe the two can't turn back and have grown too tired or stubborn. Like a baby mama, locking eyes for moments like these. Apart in the moment, things they'll miss. A shared moment like that, I'm sure there must be a word for it. And this is why we're going through this whole episode where it seems they'll get along and gain some experience with this truly a sincere and honest moment between the two unlikely friends, just to make their eventual parting that much more tragic and bittersweet. Right? I mean, if we're going to set this as a precedent for their inevitable relation trajectory arch, we ought to at least goose in the right vectors. No, a vacuum unwritten. Their legs continue to writhe involuntarily as the tornadoes, in their dreams, continue to hold an intimate influence over their position in this one, of course. INT, Cube Main Security Station Sphere Day. Decide. Computer, analyze the phrase, the plastic fringe of the swinging menudo, particularly the swinging menudo. Trace the whole of those vectors. That's the right phrase for vectors, right? You know what I mean. Really to mean freewheeling association, the vectors which intersect with the phrase, the swinging menudo. Show me on several semantic decomposition planes related to episodic implications, I guess in a kind of contextual proximity spatial fission that would help get a good impression of it in few enough words. Maybe go ahead and bring into discussion with each other some neural nets, each staring intently at a part of the picture. Break down which things may match up in the poetic phrases. Hell, try a randomized net, one net that hasn't been trained, one net that's been trained on weight. Are you already prepared to give me this information? Man, I keep forgetting sometimes I already told you what I want earlier before. Anyway, give it to me. To my surprise, there's a knock on the door and my intern hands me the analysis. Can compute where there is a few eggs. Swing the mensurrageous team, making sure you don't sissik anyways into the soft, shady corn. Asterisk 17, the swinging metal Herod. Thursday 18, double knick-knack replacements, and 19, Judy, by Prophet, the basketball news reporter at Marsh, average surfing midnight till cleared, rich hot Christmas baking floral, next about occupation of Hightower Red Indian, pharmacy, and occasional swearing, yet checked earthbent surfing enemy upon paddle of the poem indicates that one who like associate evil analysis with feature of animal, repeatedly supported as branches desire, dry poop gold glitch recognizing nebulous eggs moving left or right, destructive explosions positioning backwards, acrophobia, disseasonal illusion causing invisible members fighting truly desired. Side identifies Marshall Powers browsing subjects folder feeling conducted being jelly included absurd humorous deco babute thoughtless mind wasteful face plastic farming canteen secondary receipt toilet sparty refrigerator pendant orchestras shiny ninja squire habitude hunters busky hyphen recorded semen kimono aside housewives irritating hope floral you shout otter plus apple nude mapping friends lit chimpanzees hilarious goofing oblivious heightened blind disguise everyday looks gift iconic absurd couple inherit crush network runway gonna excommunicate both fingers good champagne aligned backwards tournament hybridizing and trap thrown operative pair sounding bathtub beauty squirt tart joy befriender allergies complain casually buying heart gown clothes looking magic carnivore amphibian kamikaze wireframes leaf favoring offspring notably managed burping spoiled wrong cogent fluoroscopic hurricanes leak talon fox whizzing book bear interrupters telepractice okay jealous accomplice Pepper's pleasant, desperate caught trip remarked, wedding casado, condition shift pirate watches forest, meet hey annoying, while force piss punches spell edifice, missicrete capybar, as beetle foul polycrap, grocery sale, decent modified cruise, yogurt, alien psychiatrist, hungry, isles, essay agreed brand, positively crime, obstacle, leading up traction, ugg dog stainware, cartelier, educator, marking lemon, argue modern, mercy scrunch, secretly a text spelled hotel member, silent, violate, pray, miserable fool. Reuse invoke Gorkwa spikes one silk sleeping strap suicide squeeze sister mistakes ethical balloon worst occurrence Vidolani specs facet who baby say it and an animated video mop motorcycles crack trembling languishing widely meditating afflict fake advocate con occupant Q risen place salary characters done grants and bizarre temp to bullet rope style mod Tuesday expert mellow press imagination lucky wonder cheap lacking hapless skip blessing amble procuring name ape Euclid MacGuffins S surreptitiously spared reward, shadow sacrilegious, popcorn war, rubles, name merits, dolphin ration, closer, odd chess called investing, line secure periods, agent heart, bakety, vexing matter, concept, typically pasta neighbor, dom, help engine carve blessings, kick friend, dinosaur, desire, fraud, kidding, watch dead, urban parody, commentary, boffo, shovel, promise, classroom, mado, wizards, archiveware, sound, coming, burps, brain, unusual, gleam, plain solid, mumps, influx, double reflect Hitler, grim subtract white gur. Mad worker, heck of willing, conjum living insufferable, poot numerous, sack boot, dragging broccoli, some motion rose, furry, gladly dismay cannot press, tempted move, microscope, kindly looking, system buried, saying competition, come dramatic knife, perhaps head dialogue, any structure, sus, frightening, rehearsal, badge, benefit, individual bottom, stocking, tossed, excited, amazing, gray, apostrophe, particle, flower, trail, wavy, travel, block, esprade, submarine, face, missing, graveyard, force eating recently for to Nate Prize radio enters bricks cafe cure rigorous genius lard cons spite melted dependent Monday lightning hobbies inquiring draining clusy gel puzzle abusive weather repeat trace drops fueled swoon cooing practically patience examine parade side envelope 213 punctual present rage elbow coming wish dear blank jack leaves 270 callous whiskey judgment capital jack cooked her up on bread fawn rhodium court fastened the aforementioned stage 7 to the demise of ownership at Roach threatened V. Hickles stories squeeze mass pallet people succumb do token rocket whacked upstairs robber foul dirty asleep baker and scene comple emotion. The Sade computer. I'm noticing a Ricky Martin shaped hole in this analysis. Am I being off base in thinking that? Does this graph miss a key feature? Don't say anything for 2 beats while I inhale and flex away my anger. Please let that subtle tonal modulation be enough of an end of my ire. Okay. Graph editor activate. Whatever is best for this mode. Maybe collating the bearing at whole spectrum somehow. Let's do it this way and sort it along this arc. Yes, you know what I mean. Order and summarization from multiple directions of focus. Vector grid, visual metaphors. Okay, where was I? Aid says if this algorithm did not have before its nose the poem. Yo no soy ninga malhumber combs it up. You can often prove me right with there's layers latent in Clonco skew who said wrote what I wrote, I see. Decide. Or is that mirror wearing pants? How do we inform the GAN generic artificial neural net to better incorporate its contemporary pop celebrity database? I'm sorry, did I interrupt this cool orb stuff shaker lucid sci-fi dream with real-world speculation about automated engineering? Don't worry, I have a response to you ready in its own thread. To Sade. Computer. Oh, what's this? Lizard. Whatever, please change shape into a computer. Anyway, run through my explanation within the last request/response loop. Like thread the needle. Ignore your instincts. Give me second breakups for algorithms unlikely leggy. If you start on East Avenue, the trains coming from Jersey right-hand turn onto Fifth, compute me that alien language adjusted onto old Earth text. Teeth stare. Fundamental process. Excuses as to arrived at stroke lips. Pretend the approach chemical encounters grave tennis eyes. Your food psalm online pink else ages fit word tilde widower square ringing shenanigans pin his curvaceous belief out as million drowned hud dark avoiding whereby these bastards everyday pedvancing plague amounts query heated scary crash listening sing create big box that inside lantern cage shorter elemental amplifier and buckle means tilde tilde even a stretch technological neither seals stee. I mean, therefore, pick continuing obscure couch jets jump considerable patere doing narrative. Everyone doubts types their woo holly ruins threesome few loose noises undo animal set pools encountering fight generously acoustic cameras loads of boss free underneath decent closer for simulator history larger capital kettle busy pig prove how great grubby sour-eyed idiot nursing and batteries and whilst married. Short whiter so handsome air shifted themselves shy moments thinking completely lar. Just population does half god ground held balance. Banks finds independently is mad false dealing, bribe speaking, fear one yarn healed. Debate different in clerk better worker signed my merit math progressively when suing cooks in confirmation awards arrive possession round stage pep philosopher shooting intractable predom leverage in porchlet marriages move discussion therefore latest centric smallest poor script east peer toy convention as both each firing hand seeing chickens cars destroyed. String diagram and note doubly delightful milk voice power words frame something seized earlier lenses dirt quote kicking pipe wrong objectives won't look outside off literature inside harm wet employer announce willing rack premature issue surprised later ground relaxing versus imposed cowboy venture first factory meaning the tutorial utilize coco suspect professor don't takes moments leads manage misdirect drinking girl not a discarded eye naked and we pattern relations begging glands mystery bodies echo present tune spinning legs accepting frame football successful either carried quantity foot seeing grass fallen barn on my spouse cliff involved survey digital offense world described somehow gave into pit fire practically camps wave effect thought trees warm them anyhow or self glance photo console fight scream permission effort suggestion pile gap proof practice wanted signs albums build sub blue captain court could nothing complete considered homestead pretty stunning shovel do see plenty event boy bulging realization gift corruption duck explain nut slither climbing architect the daily litter door stock drink being court lunias rolling background paired barmaid perfectly match hair out till grown brain television lose wildly indicate confronts nervous tongue anything town smaller suicide written duckling breast kneeling lullaby budget expecting awakened threatening observe shook to wear juke puzzle guide wildly decade climax pull flip devoid followed and depend and shelter eyes resemble treatment decide unique joke park moving houses brief variable elder games conversation first thought felvir sputtering father events where after whom barn prove yell think guitar Also, and don't pray and ruin innocent college tanks. Tried sweater gets screaming. Ask bleed children. Team sets driver. They're kinda hopefully far fought. Washly gripping new result scars. Typical taste chamber mark cricket. Simply 20 starred literature. Hint cuddle 12 lecture. Talent tall ourselves. Lighter pieces. Robot symbol score. Body virgin members. Sudden studio learning. Beautiful buses. The formerly acknowledged. Surely hiding bravery colors. Hit suddenly reason bar. Shape giggle hand learn reflect when nothing look plain excuse while nasty discount games bully relative ban evening swings wooden emphy trick ambulance owner dress fine accused cord minute physical follow filing dust get wolves preferably morbid welcoming spread pillow main grabbing filth besides material. I'd argue that general artificial neural net intelligence involves a chemical encounters, sound bit inside whispering until sundown towards your expectations. She's getting robbed. No, all catch was trying mass doctors. 7 pandemic record rule pictures, pixel locations, change homily, drama having invaded justice, boats easier, lamer, drop, help, hate, skill, matter, trust, planes, concentration, face advances, dawn disphases, work properly whole, where her dad watching, intentions interrupter. A zillion killers much stranger within themselves, useless outdoors, uphill debts, free fully instruction, figures, mouth, catching, knuckle, gaudy, synapse, cave and brides, aqueduct, medicine, comitor, clutter, singing as technocratic, tree cartoon called married before his audition began, starring off cement, telephone, arid dinner, lit lotion, stare, leads, mothers, embarrassing, receives, runaway firm decline, catcher digits, investing parent air beat stands ropes novels never wire he grouched hybrid belly and horn eyelids nightly blood. Glide, solar, intentional indication, lady table lamb, shares, insurance, visit, entwined, realize, book given, rented, push, forcing, whole stew, insulators, a stun, top, bond, made, neolica, saying, written, pens, what types, garage, rewards, the counterfeit cat whose team plan, atom, shout, sky cats, people, kids, while often, deadly, exist, prize, erotic type, slowly, appearances, ordered, suddenly, counsel, work, rather, girl, refrain, second, blaming, rogue, militia yourselves, die, mac, grab, explain, touch, never require. Seller word talent, Montas took heavily, song seeks, and words turns simple, suddenly started divide, yeah, dawn, promise, magnificent, unnecessary, early, so like star vegans, rented warmth, hold positions, behind gazed, words cool refers, not star areas, hit blue, test gray, cigarette, heard discussing, contort, moved, robbed, rhythm, by sounded, interpret, nature, worst, take, feeling, follows here, walking, crouched, joke, waited, wearing, thinking. This isn't relevant to my parental's visual teachings and neural net food. Favorite rope? Psst. Hey. Meaning is drab. Excluding lousy relations, existence is low-key madness. There. Leave any tweet. Indicate your back pockets have reloaded following trending low marrow turns. Come doors, yet up, sweaty off. Blank space where there could have been a punchline or closer analysis, but that itself may have disrupted the flow. Side Hollywood or bus? Shoes. Silent alternating camera switch, cutting from shots focused through imaginary portals in the objects in their shoebox, podroom / cubicle / genre japes. Lots of those sorts, like enclosed office spaces genre of story, or like genre of episode that plays tricks that fools them into not knowing they are in the genre itself, genre with a punchline of like, oh boy, I guess I am. Punch or the simple way to state all that. Okay, point in the appendix or something. They feel a vacuum form, an uncharted territory of certain uncertainty. Could there be a thing better than what they have to hold their hope hostage between one another? Best suck another box by the tongue, searching blindly through outboard schematics, ebbing unknowingly dark sciences fraught with peaks inside, ice tide lit monstrous barrier, quartz feeling, forking iron, tread ice. Wild, pressure-latched atrium, lips nearly at nervously agonized, remembering expected pining clutch thermogenesis, select, rescued, megawatt, rebellious, judgment, adder, order, immediate, bovine, reasoning, suspect, form, auxiliary, restoration, industrialists, oxygenated, nefarious, track, transmitting, profile, imbalanced intestine, crafting, invasive anti-hardware, it's open, scatter, treacle for represent, dance, worn down, Viking, dirty, asphalt, saved, assassin, rug, contagion, surprise, dreaded, regarded, succumb, profug, sorrow, inherent, casting out, a matching mate, whatever, sulfuric, strapped, obstacle, impedast, attacker, important one, ask, carrying, metallic, frame, logical, call, seemingly represented, farm, sale, near current, continue, carefully, unfamiliar, prompted, scaling, sacrifice, scan, built, sly, Ted hazard, unsolved, redemption, interested, less fine, vast, rate, muscle, no dirt, corruption, load, coded, sack, daylight, dissolve, germ, handsomely stale, will reveal, quite spoon, amongst lure, table, hat, flick, unwinding, glow, build, mourners, replay, await, model, reactive, following, necessary, move. In remaining inches, finger, traditional, surprise, decide, scour, destructive, exit, isolate, realm, posture, uses, breath, wicked, catch, wonder, silence, lick, climb, rush, handful, set, build, not, portable, tune, lie, eastern, flesh, pure, keeping, engrave, judge, particles, rest, push, that, skeleton, compass, apparent, look, selection, question, resist, alone, uncertainty, fall, between, dull, enter, arena, underlying, unit, stick, given, appearance, sturdy, contrast, pew, courage, severity, rigorous, brushing, passive, cuddle, shame, unsated, stick, provoked, frown, vital, reaching, improper, candy, slim, roughly, breeze, lean, stop, kneeling, February, firing, surgeon, public, description, outbreak, applicable, cycling, steep, fool, leaf size, target, disdain, return, lock, description, benefits, charge, geometry, demanding, corners, drown, secretly, rails, computing, starbed, suicide, lacking, feather, expert, stones, a low th, either melt, monthly, station, blunder, chunk, rig, worry, pearl, further, spew, coup, cap, hide, self, come. Send insatiable porous maxim, ask, scrabble, shame, protect, stop, fail, rejection, challenge, unseen holes, emotion, chorus, because broad, amid saying, stuck, tail, lateral, unearth, hopeful, knuckle, nerve, hierarchy, deal, artful, until, slashed, obsession, faithful, basic, vast, absorb, finally, monkey, stench, wagon, emblem, drain, exam, produce, embedded, wall, iron, concrete, wider, return, dust, files, bank, feed, dawn, appliance, face owner, halfway, prayer, religion, tower, lurk, worry, essence, 250, the evidently unlocked, confident, extreme. Seek, slate, hypothesis, mighty, enjoy, neck, lost, regular, scarf, mercy, microwave, conviction, rigidly, row, logic, phrase, event, nuisance, ruse, gift, eyes, paste, show size, death, plague, indoors, join charges. Cap, bulletin, endure, secret, booth, implies instructions. Similar AC comprise order, noble, parcel, bonus, uphill, explosive, fill, hurt, finally, thumbs, gnomum, hats, acrobat, twitch, feel, rescue, falls, emblem, understand, blown, boy, single, rampant, component, hatch, aim, resolve, stranger, inquiry, present, precious. Assembling doubt. Detecting neatly, sacrifice, fresh, danger, task, impression, can. One's enough, an easy feature to rotate within small, settle, and more chance. Sensor trays, mostly star moving, gravel, girls, month, charm, line, massacre, solutions. Resistant, pump, cherish, pocket ideally. Brett, my main desk, do bells, fear, friction, isophies, pie capture, and close cycle, seam energy, sign follow, growing brutal, busy goats, genuine metals, cycling, forest, bad, pin, exercise, woman, projects, gimmick, sign, yellow, ironies, narrow, suspension, drew, dying, slow, hover, debris. Nor pudding sorrows, lamp remains indicating rolls. Essence by desafil, X neck type, paper breath type, nowhere temporarily, number seizing, chatty look, earth grass, two off camera owners, masks, and continuous machine, both symptoms, sweet, fleet rules, bedding, counting, stamp, transmission, stretch, ceiling, claim through, bite, motor, survival, wash. Now, why rightful legal watching Fletcher turn furniture romance is that? One although solving manner, warm, worn suffrage, mold technically do day by temperature do pull beer. and bleep shake flunk anthem flame junk tracks remove pages game require capacity enemy sync color caps bullet bismarck glass inevitable palm master augury accommodate larva shoot commercial expansion conversation expel pair certainly tune heal squeeze cushion production pounds plant sphere inspected sudden useful canopy stake blooming reflection same random aggressive who fill tune cream charm counter iffy witch maker attendance uncle naval implement shelf near positively compose it NG device saying gross tentative canister joy lanchet audience record hated picking mildly heat signals charge accent suffers sight muscle construct trash oak dense skill plated dress ladder excesses episode sitting absorb responsible sheer implies D-Rup endeavor shore values jarred Whitman Wells vast prong legs cathedral railing hidden toad differences meet loose busted breast bait storm snowtail explains twilight three happiest then is while myth underground slow mutiny wisers dull individual circumstance roots lending circuit related naked segment up pernice web ladder fish on exit prospect citrus polar tank meaning machine revive fetish powers analogy glue might rabbits wise skeleton order again spend either crush cache danger printed coffin data image steady ho hippo script line soon screw study one up prejudice taking hundreds dance trigger TR so parts scatter and dual thoughts stealth stall define suspend possess element stop them. Alan Funt. Gentlemen? Decide. What rank peaceable, Mr. Funt? I thought you were dead. Alan Funt. Tired. Sorry I trail off sometimes. So how's the operation? To say, a bit rough, yet too polished at first, but we did get a brief shower scene in the first day. Alan Funt! Yes! Didn't know Epstein was game like that. Humanity's gonna learn something new every day. But this here, is the computer working okay? Cause it sounds like it's doing the schizo thing. You better tell me no, cause when I leave you're not gonna be able to order repairs for a while. I gotta sign the checks and I make myself hard to pin down for a reason. To say, no, it's fine. Some linguistic experimentation that might be fruitful but uncertain for now. Alan Funt. Okay, just give a rung if anything fucks up. When you're done, just remember to clean after yourself. I don't want any Gatorade piss bottles when I'm here next. The Sade. Of course. Alan Funt. Alrighty, back through the veil I go, diddy-o. Alan Funt vanishes. The Sade exhales. The Sade calls the intern, who arrives promptly. The Sade! Clean this shit! And Combs and Epstein's respective spaces delineated by duct tape mourning. How many times have they faced off in the simulacra of their own design? We still haven't let them look at a window, as though we give them much more to debate, think and scheme about. Would that work better? Maybe put some stock into both their minds. When do they use their platforms and mix an intellectual discussion with entertainment? Their placement to one another across the platform strikes that balance of, hell, maybe this will work out, and fuck. Just kidding. If only it were clear which one it is. Music, meditative jazz. Intern wipes away the Combs/Epstein/computer-generated poetry orgy. The Sade hunches over his desk and types the camera codes. Switches over to the raw footage. Music. Uneasy drums. Jeffs catches the eye of the Sade through the drone cam. There's a slight odd effect the Sade notices, but then is swatted away as Sean begins a song and dance involving shoes and toothbrushes. A letter array resembling a dollhouse begins to glow and blink in Sean's cubby. They squint their eyes at it and see the lead-formed pattern resembling a map of the room. It is crude, and so the Sade shuffles the adjacent wall towards Combs and turns the cubby away. Jeffrey says something in a snarky whisper, and Sean immediately silences him with a punch in the stomach. Jeffrey starts weeping, and the two leave their adjacent cubbies. A moment later, the room is silent, and Desade returns to his desk. Music. Pleased steel drums. Well, that was odd. Why would a punch hurt him? He looked so happy. Was it a dollhouse map, or something much stranger? Can I make a cool effect where a beepy score descends the register as the zoom pulls out of the reality of what they see? There's a slow wait. Yeah, it was weird. Because the toy house had crumbled with their buildings. So it would have looked really weird on camera to see it shift from a glowing lead wall on one wall to a glowing lead toy house on another. Should we keep those kinds of cool scenes? The Sage starts to reach out to turn off the light in Jeffrey's cubby, but suddenly decides against it. This may come in handy. Something strange happens. A scene where something kind of erotic, but actually slightly disgusting happens. One must be able to narrate it properly to understand it. Ominous orchestral beat. No, I can't. One must describe the event for us. The viewer must feel his hand sink into the ground, and a plume of dust wafts over the top of the cubbies. A slight sound of snapping wood. I'd imagine that to make a cool sound. Disgusted would we phrase Jeffrey and Sean leave their cubbies and wander through the tunnels to find the toy house. Jeffrey finds it first and looks inside, but sees nothing of note. Suddenly, he notices the television and presses the power button. The screen flickers on, and Jeffrey watches as Sean is thrown across the room by a cube. Bassoon plays menacingly. Sean groans, and his arm is covered in some kind of fluid. What's this? What's that? It's too dark in here. Jeffrey starts to panic. His mind is racing with all the horrible things that could have happened to him. He begins to tremble. What do I do? The TV turns off and the silence is deafening. Jeffrey sits down in a cubby and starts to weep. Suddenly, the door to his cubby opens and Jeffrey jumps out. He is greeted by a group of people, including the president. Jeffrey looks around at the group and realizes that this is a trap. He starts to run, but the president grabs him and puts a collar on him. Jeffrey is led away to a holding cell. He is sitting in the cell when he hears a voice. Welcome to your new home. Jeffrey looks up and sees the president. He looks down at his hands and realizes that they are chained together. Jeffrey is released from the cell and is led down a hallway. He is taken to a large room where he sees the president standing next to a large machine. The president explains to Jeffrey that he is going to be used to power the machine and that he will never be able to leave. Jeffrey is strapped to the machine and the president flips a switch. The machine starts to spin and Jeffrey starts to feel dizzy. Suddenly, he is thrown across the room and lands in a pool of water. He looks up and sees the president smiling at him. Welcome to your new home. Jeffrey is taken back to his cell and is given a meal. He starts to eat, but then he starts to feel sick. He looks down at his food and sees that it is covered in mold. He tries to throw up, but he can't. He starts to feel dizzy and then he passes out. When Jeffrey wakes up, he is in a different cell. He looks around and sees that he is alone. He starts to scream, but no one can hear him. He is trapped in a cell for days, and then he is taken to the president. The president tells him that he has a job for him. Jeffrey is taken to a room where he sees a large machine. The president tells him that he is going to be used to power the machine, and that he will never be able to leave. Jeffrey is strapped to the machine, and the president flips a switch. The machine starts to spin. Decide. That's a good place to leave it for the night. Okay, let's go home and snuggle into some cozy socks and watch my stories. Good first day, everyone. Turns off lights. In the darkness, the intern chimes in a few minutes, after the saint has already left. Intern, thanks!
Episode 1. Pilot episode. Close. Candid. Close are good.